Quel est le bien le plus précieux?
What is the most precious belonging? Prem, love.
Tous nous en cherchons.
Everyone is searching for love.
C'est notre but.
It is our goal.
Mais c'est
But
amour,
this love,
il s'exprime
it
de
expresses
différentes
itself
manières,
in different ways,
selon notre conscience.
according to our consciousness.
Par exemple,
For example,
chez les cannibales,
with the cannibals,
chaque année,
each year,
c'est vrai là.
it's true what I'm
Les
saying,
tribus
the
aborigènes,
Aboriginal tribes, the
le plus
cannibals,
ancien, le plus aîné,
the most ancient, the elder,
celui qu'on aime
the
le
most
plus,
senior, the one we like the most,
il est lâché dans la nature
is let go in nature
et il est chassé,
and
abattu et mangé.
is chased,
C'est
killed
la fête
and
suprême
eaten.
du village.
This is the supreme feast of
C'est
the
une forme
village.
d'amour.
It's a form of love.
Par exemple,
For example,
des gens qui sont suprêmement racistes
people who are supremely racist
et qui sont prêts à exterminer
and they
les gens
are
qui sont
ready to
différents d'eux,
exterminate those who are different from
ils
them.
ont une forme d'amour.
They have a form of love.
L'amour existe
Love exists
partout,
everywhere,
il s'exprime différemment.
but it expresses itself
Mais il
differently.
ne peut pas ne pas
But
s'exprimer.
it cannot not express itself.
Parce que quand on a
Because
plus l'expression
when we
d'amour,
don't have the expression of love,
on veut mourir.
we want to die.
On n'a plus de valeur,
We don't have any value.
on n'a plus rien.
We have nothing.
Quand l'objet d'amour ne
When
veut
the
pas
object of love does not want to
venir,
come,
alors on est détruit
then we are destroyed
et on pleure.
and we cry.
Où est cet objet d'amour?
Where is this object of love?
Où est-il?
Where is he?
Il s'est montré à moi,
He showed himself to me.
il m'a capturé,
He captured me.
il m'a tout pris.
He took everything away
Même
from
mon
me.
cœur.
Even my heart left.
Pourquoi ne revient-il pas?
Why is he not coming back?
C'est l'amour.
It is love.
L'amour, ça veut dire
Love means
qu'on voit,
that we see,
on touche,
we touch,
on goûte,
we taste,
on entend,
we hear,
on pense
we think
à l'objet d'amour.
about the object of
On le
love.
voit partout.
We see him everywhere.
C'est pourquoi la plus haute
This
forme
is why
de
the
l'amour
highest form of love
doit nous permettre
must allow us
de voir la plus haute
to
forme
see
de l'amour.
the highest form of love.
À ce moment-là, ce
In this way,
sentiment,
this
c'est
feeling,
l'expression la plus élevée.
it is the highest expression of love.
Or,
However,
la Bhagavad Gita explique
in the Bhagavad Gita
dans
explains,
des versets comme
for example, verses like Am Sarvasya
Comme
Prabhavo.
tout émane du Seigneur
Since
suprême,
everything emanates from the Supreme Lord,
alors
then
nous
we
émanons de ceci.
emanate from this Lord.
Mais pourquoi
But-
il nous crée?
Why does he create us?
Il n'aurait pas besoin.
He wouldn't need.
Il est Atmarama.
He is
Il est
Atmaram,
satisfait en
he is
lui-même.
satisfied in his
Il
himself.
n'a pas besoin de création.
He doesn't need a creation.
Puisque tout existe par
Since
lui
everything
et pour
exists
lui,
by him and for him,
il est satisfait.
he is
Il est
satisfied.
tout-puissant.
He is all
Tout
powerful.
existe en lui.
Everything exists within him.
Pourquoi il crée?
Why he creates?
Parce qu'il a cette tendance
Because he has this tendency
aussi à aimer
also to love
et à avoir une relation.
and to have a relationship.
C'est pourquoi
This is
la
why
plus haute forme
the
d'amour,
highest form of love,
l'amour originel,
the original love,
elle doit être reliée
must
à
be
cette vérité.
connected to this truth.
Lorsqu'elle n'est pas reliée,
When it is not
c'est
connected,
ce qu'on appelle une forme
that's what we call a
d'infantile
perverted form of
d'amour.
love.
Ça veut dire que dans le
That
monde,
means that in the
on
forgetfulness,
essaye de trouver
we
cet
try to
amour,
find this love,
mais
but
au lieu de nous
instead
libérer
of liberating us
et d'avoir un amour sans
and
limite,
having an unlimited
on
love,
obtient la souffrance.
we obtain suffering.
Parce que lorsqu'on
Because
est
when we are
relié avec un cœur
connected
imparfait,
with someone imperfect,
on souffre.
we suffer.
L'attachement est la source. de
Attachment is the source of suffering.
la- Par exemple,
For example,
vous pouvez avoir quelqu'un à 100
you can have
mètres
someone
de vous.
100 meters
Si vous
away
n'avez
from
pas
you.
d'attachement,
If you don't have an attachment,
s'il souffre,
if that person
vous
suffers,
ne pouvez même pas avoir de
you
compassion.
cannot even have any compassion for that one.
Mais s'il y a l'attachement,
But if there's
vous
attachment,
ressentez sa souffrance
you feel
comme
the
la-
suffering like your own,
ou comme la joie.
or
comme la-
joy like your own.
C'est ce que ressent par
That's what
exemple des parents d'enfants.
parents they feel towards their children.
C'est expliqué,
It is explained
dans la philosophie
in
Vaishnava
the Vaishnava philosophy
que lorsque
that
le père voit sa
when the
fille
father sees
partir du foyer,
his daughter
il
leave
est toujours avec sa
the
femme.
house, he's always with his daughter.
C'est l'attachement.
It is the attachment.
Et à travers cet attachement,
And through this attachment,
alors, toute forme
then
de bonheur et de souffrance.
any form of happiness and suffering appear.
Mais
But
si on analyse
if we analyze
cette souffrance et
this,
ce bonheur,
this suffering and this
elle nous
happiness,
ramène à quoi?
it brings us to what?
L'identification au corps.
Identification with the body.
Quand j'ai ces sentiments,
When I have these
je pense
feelings,
que je suis
I
ce corps.
think that I am this body.
Donc à travers ces sentiments,
So through these feelings,
je ne peux pas
I cannot
comprendre la nature de l'âme.
understand the nature of the soul.
C'est pourquoi
This is why
cette vérité
this
qu'on
truth
appelle Krishna,
that we
Krishna,
call
ça veut dire la
Krishna,
vérité
Krishna means
absolue,
the absolute truth,
qui est infiniment
which
fascinante.
is infinitely
Elle doit avoir
all
ce
attractive,
pouvoir
must have this power
de nous permettre de
to
l'oublier,
allow us to forget Him,
parce que la liberté
because
est complète.
freedom is
Mais elle
complete,
doit aussi avoir
but
ce pouvoir
they also
de
must
nous
have the
donner la
power
chance
to give
de
us the
nous
chance
rappeler d'elle,
to
de nous
remember
libérer
the
de
source
l'emprise du corps.
and liberate ourselves from the entanglement of the body.
Alors ça ne veut pas dire
So that doesn't mean
qu'une fois qu'on est
that once we
libéré,
are liberated,
on ne tient pas compte
that
des
we are
autres.
not accounting those beings
Mais
that
on
are
les
around
voit
us,
avec la
but we
vérité
see them
absolue, et
with
non
the absolute
séparés.
truth and not separate
Parce que
them,
la séparation
because
est
the
une illusion,
separation is an illusion,
puisqu'il est
since
derrière toute chose.
the Lord is behind everything,
Il contrôle toute chose,
controls everything,
même la digestion.
even the digestion of the food stuff.
Donc, lorsqu'on
So,
sépare cette vérité
when
de
we
notre
separate
bien,
this truth
on appelle ça l'illusion.
from,
l'ignorance.
then we call that ignorance,
Et dans
illusion.
cette ignorance-là,
And in this ignorance,
quand on est heureux,
when we are happy, everything goes well,
mais
but
le bonheur,
happiness,
il est très transitoire.
it is really
dans ce
transitory in
monde.
this
Il
world,
dure un moment.
temporary. It lasts for some
Et à un
time,
moment, il se
and at some
transforme
point it
en
transforms
souffrance.
into suffering.
Tout le monde a déjà expérimenté.
Everyone already experienced this.
Même des choses qu'on
Even
aime
things
bien,
that we like,
même quand on est enfant,
even when we're a child,
on doit les
we
s'en
must
détacher à un moment.
detach ourselves at some point from these things,
Parce qu'ils nous apportent plus
because
de
they
plaisir.
don't bring us a pleasure.
Et si on nous force à
And if
rester
we're
avec ces
forced to
mêmes
stay with
éléments,
these same
on rentre
elements,
en colère.
we
J'en veux
become
plus.
angry. I don't want any more. I don't want.
Je veux des nouveaux jouets.
I want new toys. I want new
C'est
toys.
vrai.
That's true.
Et on les casse.
And then we break them.
Alors ça peut paraître un peu extrême,
So it might seem a little extreme,
mais c'est une réalité.
but it is a reality still.
Et en fait,
And in
on
fact,
passe d'un objet
we
à
pass
un
from
autre.
one object to the other
Parce qu'on cherche quelque
because
chose
we're
de
searching
sublime.
for something sublime.
On est fait pour quelque chose de
We're
vraiment
made
supérieur.
for something very
Et
superior.
donc, il y a un moment,
And then at some
dans
point,
l'évolution de
in
notre
the
vie,
evolution of our life,
cette demande
this
va
demand
nous amener un jour à
will
se poser cette question.
make us one day ask ourselves
Pourquoi
this
je suis
question:
dans cette
why am I
situation
in this
On va
transitory
trouver ça, c'est pas
situation?
normal.
We will think it's
Je
not
suis pas fait
normal.
pour ça.
I am not made for this.
Qu'est-ce que je fais dans ce monde?
What am I doing in this
On sait
world?
même pas pourquoi
We
ça
don't even
apparaît.
know why it appears.
C'est une forme de
It's a
foi.
form of faith, of
Je
searching.
cherche
I'm
une
searching
réponse.
for an answer.
Et donc automatiquement,
And then automatically,
j'invente une
I invoke mercy.
J'ai pas le choix.
There's no
Par
choice.
moi-même, je peux pas
On my
voir.
own, I cannot see.
Cette vérité,
This
je peux
truth,
pas la voir par
I cannot
moi-même.
see it on my
Je
own.
suis trop petit.
I'm too small.
Elle est partout présente. Elle est
That
dans mon
very truth
cœur,
is
mais je peux
everywhere
pas la
present. It
voir.
is in my
Parce
heart,
que
and I
mon
cannot see it
attitude n'est
because
pas
my
bonne.
attitude is not
J'ai
good.
pas d'amour
I don't have love
pour me relier avec
to
elle.
connect myself
Parce
with
qu'il faut
her,
de l'amour
the source,
pur.
because we need pure love.
Qu'est-ce que c'est cet amour?
What is this love?
C'est un amour
It is a
continu,
love that is continuous,
sans désirer le
without
fruit de
desiring
l'acte,
the fruit of the actions,
ni la libération,
neither
avec
liberation,
des sentiments d'amour,
with feelings of
tout
love,
simplement pour.
and simply for them, for Him.
Donc,
So,
on ne peut pas établir un
we cannot
lien
establish
avec cette vérité
a connection with that truth without pure
Mais
love.
on sent quelque
But we feel something.
chose. On sent.
We feel.
Mais à cause
But because
d'impureté,
of impurities,
à cause
because
de ne pas avoir
of
une
not
bonne attitude,
having a good
une
attitude,
bonne
a
compréhension
good
de ce lien,
understanding of this connection,
alors la seule
then
chose qu'on peut
the
faire,
only thing that we can do
c'est appeler au secours.
is to call for help.
Viens m'aider.
Come help me.
Et
And
C'est à ce moment-là,
it is at this point,
lorsqu'on s'en remet
when we
complètement,
completely put our life in His
il peut
hands,
entendre.
that He can hear, oh, He's calling me.
Avant, il n'était pas prêt.
Before I was not ready.
Il m'appelait
He was calling
en
me,
me disant,
but by saying,
bon, je sais pas si ça existe,
I don't know if it exists,
s'il est réciproque,
if He will
il n'y a pas de
reciprocate.
problème.
There's
S'il
no problem if He
réciproque
doesn't
pas.
reciprocate. Then,
Mais là,
but
on n'a
then,
pas le choix.
there's no choice.
On est dans une situation
We're in a situation
où on est obligé
where we're obliged
de s'ouvrir.
to open ourselves and to surrender. Come, come help me.
On dit même plus,
We don't
est-ce
even
que tu
say,
existes ou
do
pas?
you exist or
On n'a pas
not?
le choix.
We have no choice.
L'âme
The soul
va s'exprimer
will express
d'une
itself
certaine manière.
in a certain way.
C'est comme si tous
It
les
is just like all
nuages
the clouds were coming out,
et que la foi
and then
apparaît.
faith
On sait même
appears.
pas d'où elle
We
vient.
don't even know where it's coming
On
from.
comprend même
We
pas
don't even understand
comment on peut avoir
how
cette
we
aide.
can have this
On
help.
croyait en rien.
We believed in nothing
Pire que ça.
worse than this.
On était même contre
We were
toute
either against
foi.
any
Et
faith.
là, je me mets à prier.
And now I start to pray. I don't even know why,
Parce que c'est naturel.
because it's natural.
Et dans ce moment-là,
And in this
on
moment,
va sentir une paix.
we will feel a peace.
On va sentir qu'on
We
est
will
écouté.
feel that we're listened,
Alors qu'avant,
whereas
on
before
avait déjà essayé.
we already had tried, but it was not working.
Quand cette petite connexion
When this
se
small
manifeste,
connection manifests itself,
alors il y a
then
une réalisation.
there's a realization.
C'est réel.
It is real,
Et la foi naît.
and faith
On ne peut pas comprendre.
appears. We cannot understand.
C'est quelque chose
It is
que
something
je ressens.
that I feel,
C'est quelque chose
It is
qui me
something
traverse.
that is going
Je sens un amour
through
qui
me.
me-
I feel a love that is coming down to me.
Et là, on devient
And then we become
un spiritualiste.
a spiritualist,
Pas quelqu'un
not
qui
someone
accepte une
who
foi
accepts
pour
a
s'en
fate
sortir,
to get out of it,
pour
of,
avoir des biens
of suffering, to
matériels,
have
pour
material
échapper à la
goods,
souffrance.
to escape suffering.
Non,
No,
c'est une expérience.
it is an
d'amour.
experience of love.
On est attiré par
We're
une forme
attracted by
d'amour
a form of
qui est
love
supérieure
that
à
is
ce que je
superior
connaissais.
to what I
Ce
knew
que j'ai
before,
entendu.
of what I heard about,
Et ce que les gens
and what
expérimentent
people
autour de
experience around me.
nous. Personne ne peut comprendre,
Nobody can understand
sauf quelqu'un qui l'a
except
expérimenté.
someone who experienced it.
Donc à ce moment-là,
So then, at
notre
this point,
recherche
our
est
search
différente des
is
autres.
different from the living the others.
Malheureusement,
Unfortunately,
au début, on a
At the
tendance à
beginning,
en parler.
we have a tendency to speak about
Oh,
it.
j'ai eu une expérience.
Oh, I had an experience. I prayed.
C'était
It was incredible.
incroyable. Et ceux qui ont pu
And then
faire,
those who have no faith, they will say,
oh là là,
oh boy,
qu'est-ce qu'il-
what the, oh la la, what does
Vous
he
voyez
want?
leur visage qui change.
And then you see their face that is changing.
Qu'est-ce qui lui arrive?
What is happening to that guy? He broke a fuse or something.
Oh là là là.
Oh la 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 la.
Comment on va faire pour le sauver?
How will we do to save him?
Et souvent,
And often,
ce fait d'en parler,
the fact of speaking about it,
ça crée pas
it doesn't create
des bonnes relations.
good relationships with people that don't have
Parce
faith.
que les gens vont s'être
Because people will go away from us
disant, mais
by saying that that person is weird.
j'ai pas envie d'être
I don't want to be with someone who takes my head with
des
with
expériences d'amour.
experiences of love.
Et donc, la
And then,
réaction elle va être dans les deux camps.
The reaction will be provocating because the person who experiences a greater love,
Il a envie que tout le monde
he
l'expérience.
wants everyone to experience
Parce que
it.
ce qui est bon,
Because what is good,
partager.
you want to
Avec
share
les
it
gens,
with
vous
people
allez
that you
avoir
love.
envie de leur
You
donner.
want to share it.
Et ça va être
And it
une
will be
période qui est très
A
difficile.
period that will be very difficult
Parce que personne ne comprend.
because nobody understands us.
Et donc,
And then
il y a une forme de détachement
there's a form of detachment naturally
dans cette conception
in
de
this
l'amour.
conception of love
Parce qu'on comprend
because we
que les
understand
êtres qui sont
that the
dans ce
beings
monde,
who are in this world,
ils y sont
they
parce
are
qu'ils
there
désirent pas
because
goûter
they
cet
don't
amour.
desire to taste that love.
Ils veulent pas de relation
They don't want a relationship
avec la vérité.
with the
Et au
absolute truth,
contraire,
but to the contrary,
ils veulent être éloignés.
they want to be far away.
Donc, à
So,
travers l'amour
through
spirituel,
spiritual love,
on comprend
we
naturellement
understand
la
naturally
nature de
the
l'enfant.
nature of the environment,
Et on comprend
and we understand
qu'on est placé dans cet endroit
that we are placed in this
pour qu'à un
situation
moment,
so that at some
on
point
accepte ce
we
qu'on est.
accept
par nous-mêmes,
on our own that love
pour nous-mêmes.
for ourselves.
Et à ce moment-là,
And then,
vous l'avez entendu,
you heard it.
c'était pas une blague.
It was not a joke.
Bienvenue. À ce moment-là,
Then,
même
even
si beaucoup de personnes nous
if a lot of people reject us,
on réalise
we
qu'on
realize
n'aura rien,
that we lose nothing
parce qu'on obtient tout.
because we obtain everything.
Donc,
So,
on se met à voir
we
tout
start
comme
seeing
une
everything like mercy.
l'interaction de l'environnement.
The interaction of the environment is perceived like a mercy, and we obtain qualities that are wonderful, like humility, tolerance,
le respect.
respect.
Et à partir de là,
And from there,
on devient simplement
we become simply
absorbé dans
Ah.
cette relation.
absorbed in this relationship
Parce qu'on comprend
because
que
we
personne
understand
peut
that
nous donner
nobody
cet amour,
can give us this love,
cette qualité d'amour.
this quality of love.
On prend l'exemple
We take the example
d'une personne
of a
qui
person
tombe amoureux.
that falls in love of another person, really beautiful
Très beau.
or very beautiful, a man or woman. You make your choice.
Et cette personne,
And then this person
elle n'aime pas les gens qui fument.
doesn't like people who smoke.
Et vous fumez beaucoup.
And you smoke a lot.
Impossible d'arrêter.
Impossible stopping.
Mais parce que l'amour,
But because love appears,
vous obtenez la force.
you obtain the strength to stop smoking.
Parce que
Because
c'est plus fort.
it is
Et
stronger.
bien, de la même manière,
But in the same way,
quand vous êtes avec
when
l'expérience
you have the
de
experience
l'amour
of
spirituel,
spiritual love, prem,
parce qu'il y a cette
because there's this
rencontre avec
meeting
la divinité,
with the divinity,
alors
then
vous ressentez en
you
vous
feel within
ce qu'il
yourself
faut abandonner
what is
et
needed
ce qu'il
to
faut
let
accepter.
go and what we need to accept so that this connection is constant.
Mais c'est quelque chose
But it
qui
is
se passe
something that
dans notre
happens within us.
Ça se passe pas à
It doesn't
l'extérieur.
happen outside.
Vous n'avez pas le choix,
You don't have the choice
parce qu'il y a l'amour.
because there's love.
Quand l'amour est là,
When love is there,
vous êtes contrôlé par l'amour.
you are controlled by love.
Quand l'objet de l'amour
When the object of love disappears, you're unhappy.
Quand l'objet de l'amour
When the object of love
vous êtes
appears,
heureux.
you're
Parce
happy
que vous êtes contrôlé.
because you're controlled.
Tous les sens sont
All the senses are controlled. The mind, the intelligence, the ego is controlled. Everything is controlled.
De la même manière,
In the same
la
way,
vérité absolue
the absolute truth
avec
acts like that with the living entity.
Si l'être vivant,
If the living entity is good,
elle apparaît.
then it appears.
Si on se comporte mal,
If we don't act properly, it disappears.
mais même si
But
parfois,
even
elle peut
sometimes,
aussi disparaître,
it can even disappear
votre
to
amour.
increase our love.
Mais vous ne pouvez pas faire autrement
But you cannot do any other way
que diriger
but to direct
votre cœur
your heart
vers cet objet d'amour.
towards this object of love.
C'est pourquoi
It is impossible. That is why we're all controlled by love.
Et suivant notre
And according to our consciousness,
cet amour s'exprime.
this love expresses itself differently. But we cannot do any other way.
C'est pourquoi
That's why
on quitte une situation
we leave a situation
par
to
la miséricorde.
the mercy,
Et une fois qu'on a
and once we attain
une conscience plus élevée,
a higher consciousness,
naturellement,
then naturally
on va faire le
we will make the
à
plans
l'intérieur
within
pour
us
progresser.
to progress.
La seule différence,
The only difference
c'est qu'un être humain
is that
ordinaire,
an ordinary human being can cheat us.
on peut par exemple
We can, for
faire
example,
croire qu'on l'aime,
make believe someone we
c'est
love
parce que on ne peut pas
that
toujours
person
voir
because
ce
we
qui se
cannot
passe
always
à
see
l'intérieur.
what's happening inside.
Donc, il peut avoir une
So there
forme
can be a
de
form
triche.
of cheating.
Même si l'amour est
Even
pas
if love is not completely
on
pure,
peut faire penser à une
we can
personne
make
que
someone
l'amour est
believe that
complètement-
love is completely pure.
Mais
But
Krishna, la vérité
Krishna, the absolute
absolue,
truth, we cannot cheat him
puisqu'il est dans le cœur
since he
même.
is in the heart itself of the living entity.
Donc,
So,
à un moment,
at some point,
on peut avoir
we can have
une vie spirituelle
in our spiritual life
blocage.
a form of blockage.
Parce
because certain things, we cannot let go of them, or simply we run because certain persons worship us. And then this truth, since we're not ready yet to let go of everything, the truth cannot fully surrender to us also. So even in spirituality, there can be a form of illusion. At the same time, yes, and at the same time, no. Because it is the same truth who will reveal itself in different levels. Because of our attitude, which is not, we're not surrendered. And then we need to want to completely give ourselves for this truth to give itself to us. We can, the truth cannot give itself at 10%, 20%, and us also. We need to give 100% so that the truth gives 100%. The truth doesn't react any other way. The world of love, it's 100%. It cannot be any other way. So, that is why the spiritual path is not so simple. Because there are a lot of traps. A lot of traps. But, if we desire really, then we can obtain it. But for that, we need to have a good association. Because in the association of people who have love, we develop love. In the association of people who have this attachment to this object of love, then we obtain the attachment. Those who have the knowledge of this object of love, we obtain the knowledge. Through knowledge, we can obtain the attachment, and after, experience comes. Attachment and experience is similar, but it gives an object of love, Krishna, to reveal himself completely. So it is something that is gradual, but everything comes somehow from good association. We will always say the same thing. Tell me who you meet, you are associating with, I will tell you who you are. Tomorrow, for example, it is the appearance of Nityananda Prabhu, and we will speak about the story of Jagai and Madai. And Jagai and Madai, they were great thieves, killers. They could kill like this, very easily. Everyone was afraid of them. But still, by a special mercy, they received this love. And when this love comes, it takes away everything. Everything becomes purified. All ignorance leave. We develop the most beautiful qualities. We become completely different. Instead of being hard, we become sweet. Instead of having hatred, we have love. Instead of being ugly, we become beautiful. Everything becomes the opposite. Because what there is in our heart, that's what we see, but that's also what appears in us also and outside of us. So when love comes, we become an object of love. And naturally, we become also a vehicle for this love. And we see Krishna everywhere. It is an experience. But in this search for love, since there's all kinds of different consciousness, everyone is free. This world is made for searching. There's so many paths according to our consciousness. This is why our advancement in love, this vision of this object of love. So, we cannot force a person to accept a path. Because when we speak about love, we speak of a path that we accept on our own. Because when we are not ready to accept a path, naturally at some point, we regret. Because the path that this practice will bring us to a renunciation, to persons also who will be ready to accept us. And we see, for example, even materially speaking, if you adhere to a political way that is completely opposed to another political party, for example, in the extremists, the people of the two families, even if they're family members, they don't speak to each other. It exists on all levels. So, if we accept a path by which we're not ready, then we can at some point stop and regret. That's why the true sadhus, they don't force. They give the possibility to living beings who desire this path to give them tools so that they can progress in this path. But we don't force. It should not exist. What we call technically in France, what we call a cult, it is persons who are situated in a spiritual conception and who think that it is the only and the best. And from there, they try to change people to accept a path. But in reality, faith should be something that we accept on our own. It's really important. And people who practice once, they should let living beings express themselves on their own. We can have books. We can speak. If there's a lecture, we have the right. It's a place where we speak in a certain way. We will eat in a certain way. We will dress in a certain way. But living beings who come, they should always have the possibility to think, to accept, or to reject, without being judged. This is love. The path of love should allow us to harmonize everything and to be open-minded. So we can say, why are there some who are open and some who are not open? It's because we accept a faith sometimes without the experience. When the experience is not there and we speak about love, it's really difficult. It brings a lot of frustration. And to stay in this form of faith, we need to see faults in others. There's no choice. Because if something attracts us, it's not good. It's Satan, it's whatever you... But it's a form of attraction that is not good. You understand? So we're extremely hard, in fact, with ourselves because we're not able to stay through love. We stay simply through a belief. And then we cut ourselves from everything. There's no harmony. So we start to hate everybody. I went through this at the beginning when I was in a temple. I was surrounded by characters who had this consciousness. They were speaking about love, but they didn't love anybody else. Nobody. It's hard to stay in a place like this at some point. You take your bag without saying anything and you leave running. And it exists. There are people who can stay all their life like this. That's why. Love, this search of Prem, it is something that is essential. But at the same time, everyone has the power to understand it, to feel it, to experience it, according to one's consciousness. It is something that we should think about. It's really important. And to understand also that if we don't give the freedom, then we don't feel that we're given freedom. So it's super dangerous. It doesn't make you develop love to force people to adopt a spiritual consciousness. It must happen like something, like the harmony. Krishna is the harmonist because his beauty is unlimited. His qualities are unlimited. We don't find anybody else like this. When Krishna is there, everyone is attracted. We never saw this. Certain say I'm Krishna, but they don't attract all living entities. The insects are not in love with Krishna. The ants are not in love with Krishna. The blade of grass is not in love with Krishna. At a certain level, they attract certain persons. No. When the Lord appears, even the wind is in love with him. All the planets, everything becomes alive. Everything becomes conscious. The Lord gives consciousness. I am there. I am there to receive your love. I have come. Nobody can fight against this. He is unlimited. It is the Lord who comes, who is the origin of everything, and at the same time he comes under a form of sweetness that everybody can see him. Otherwise everybody will explode. So much strength, but he comes in a form of sweetness to attract Krishna. And then everybody fall in love. Everybody is together, everyone works together with such love. Even the scarab, the beetle, he embraces the blade of grass. Even the blade of grass can love. This is love. The wind, he obtains the consciousness and he collects all the fragrances of the flowers who emit the perfume through love. I want to offer my heart. It becomes a wonderful world. You think it's not possible? Yes. When Krishna comes, it's possible. When Krishna goes away, it's not possible anymore. And we suffer. We start to exploit all living entities by thinking that they don't have any consciousness. And this exploitation, it makes us suffer. We become more and more cut from everything. This is why, by learning about Krishna, then we become in harmony. It doesn't mean that everything, all the living entities are in harmony because they don't accept, but at least we can become in harmony ourselves. And it is really important. This is the message of the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much.